The iPhone 5S has been around for a long time, nearly 6 years, and yet it's fully supported right now on iOS 12 and can do nearly anything the $1,000 iPhone XS can do. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be talking about the iPhone 5S. How does it hold up in 2019? Before we get into this, make sure you go follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at 91_tech. Why? Because that would be a pretty cool thing for you to do. The iPhone 5S is extremely impressive to me simply because of how long it's lasted and how well it's performed throughout its tenure. The 5S was a monster upgrade to the iPhone 5, even if it didn't look like it. The jump from a 32-bit architecture to 64 was huge, and this was the first smartphone to do it. That's why now, in 2019, the 2013 iPhone 5S is still running the best version of iOS available. I actually did a whole video on this, by the way. I'll link it in the description. To summarize, the iPhone 5S is probably more innovative than you originally thought. As interesting as the 5S's past and technical aspects are, we're really here to talk about how the 5S performs today in 2019, so let's start with the design. The 5S is a gorgeous phone with a similar look to the iPhone 5, but with slightly different colors in space gray, silver, and the new for the time gold. It's a boxier phone than we're used to nowadays, and it's quite small. The 4-inch Retina display looks good, but it feels tiny compared to what we have nowadays. Below the screen we have the first ever Touch ID sensor. I think we easily forget how much this changed things. Before the 5S, everyone would always have to put in their passcode. It was a pain, and although Apple doesn't use Touch ID in their newest iPhones, it's still a great technology and it works well. The camera on the 5S is, well, okay, although it doesn't take amazing looking photos. It'll do the job, and for the time it was one of the best out there. The rear sensor has 8 megapixels and the ability to shoot 1080p video. Assuming you have good lighting, it'll take a decent shot, and I'll show some photos from it in a moment. The selfie camera hasn't held up as well, with only 1.2 megapixels, a pitiful count even for a phone from 2013. Be that as it may, this selfie actually isn't awful, all things considered. Yeah, it has my ugly mug in it, but the HDR does a good job of showing the sky in the background and keeping my face fairly clear. If you zoom in, it's going to be pixelated, but don't zoom in. Anyhow, for now I'll put up some pictures and video from the phone for you to judge for yourself. This is being filmed on the iPhone 5S in 1080p at 30 frames per second. And it doesn't look horrible. The battery life in the iPhone 5S isn't great, and that's not because it was bad to begin with, necessarily. The 1560 mAh battery might seem small, but this is a small phone. The problem is that all of these devices have been used fairly heavily since 2013. It's hard to blame a nearly 6-year-old phone for not having the same battery life as it used to. Assuming you don't replace the battery, you're probably going to have trouble with your phone dying quickly. I'd say that's a major downside of using a 5S nowadays, and if you're for some reason considering picking one up or already have one, you might want to consider replacing the battery altogether. Spec-wise, as we briefly mentioned earlier, the iPhone 5S isn't actually awful. It was literally the best for the time. It was the first 64-bit smartphone and comes with the A7 chipset, as well as 1GB of RAM. While this isn't the fastest phone in the world anymore, it actually runs fairly well on the most current version of iOS, iOS 12. That's right, this 6-year-old smartphone is running the most recent version of software Apple is putting out there. That isn't something you'll ever see from an Android phone, and no, custom ROMs don't count. That being said, the 5S's days are numbered, as it will not be supported by iOS 13. This has been confirmed with the iOS 13 beta, and isn't particularly surprising, nor disappointing. I mean, Apple can't keep it alive forever. Even the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, which are a year newer than the 5S, are not getting iOS 13. Why? Well, they're not really that much faster faster than the 5S, so makes those phones look bad and the 5S looks pretty good. And what's more, the 5S is actually a pretty good experience on iOS 12. Not exactly fast, but not slow either. And it's not at all a buggy mess like it was with iOS 11. As far as iPhones go, this is probably the best Apple has ever made in terms of longevity and technical improvements. It's a great device, and the fact that it's even remotely usable in 2019 is crazy. And it is in fact usable. If you're on an extreme budget or maybe broke your phone and need a temporary replacement, it might be worth picking up the 5S for around $50 on eBay. Although really, I'd recommend increasing your budget slightly and getting a used iPhone SE instead. It's going to be a lot faster, typically doesn't cost much more than $100, and I'll link the video to my review on it down below in the description if you're interested. At the end of the day, the iPhone 5S for what it is a great phone and one that is still being used by millions. It lasted 6 years, and while it's sad it won't last much longer, it's a very impressive feat from Apple. Gotta give them mad props for how they handled the 5S. But what do you think about all this? Did you ever own the 5S? Do you still use it? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at 91_tech if you feel like being an amazing person. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91tech, and I will see you all next time.